So I served in the Marine Corps from November of 1977 to November of 1981. The most significant event that happened during my service was the Iran hostage crisis. Um, I was in the Air Wing. I was a 53 mechanic, and I was with HMH 461 stationed at New River Air Station, North Carolina, just south of Camp Lejeune. So, it wasn't long after the hostages were taken, um, we started losing helicopters. We would send a crew out on a mission, and they wouldn't come back. So we nicknamed it the Poof Mission because we knew it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why they were disappearing. We didn't know where they were going. So I was a Lance Corporal, soon to be Corporal at that time. I may have just made Corporal.
I made corporal in November of '79.
We were getting ready for a NATO cruise. So before you go on the cruise, you take cold weather training. So this particular time, we flew three 53s, three 53 helicopters like you see in the picture here, out to Fallon, Nevada. Fallon, Nevada was going to be our base of operations. So they broke us down into three groups that would go up into the Sierra Nevadas for cold weather training. So I got placed in the first group. So they took us in a bus. I mean, this is a school bus from Fallon, Nevada to Pickle Meadows, California. We went through Carson City, Nevada. We went around Tahoe. So it's not far from Tahoe, but they call it the Marine Corps Mountain Warfare now. It's a pretty big deal now. It was just getting started up, I think, at that time. They've got nice facilities and all out there now. So when we got to Pickle Meadows, a troop transport, probably from the Korean War sometime, it was old. It was so old that the back gate wouldn't close, and it had a cover over it. And there was a gap where the cover didn't meet the gate. Dust was billowing in to the back where we were at, and it almost suffocated us. And I'm not joking, peeps. I thought we were going to die before we stopped. So we finally stopped. I got out and I looked. There was a shack. I mean, a shack. It had siding, had flooring, but it had gaps between all the wood. So I knew it was going to be a cold night. But I learned an important lesson that night. You don't sleep on a cot in cold weather because the cold air blows under the cot and it freezes your backside off. So we spent the night in the shack, and then we went on up the mountain, and there was three civilian instructors that met us up there. They taught us about hypothermia, first aid for cold weather injuries, and things like that. And the whole time we were up there, we didn't see any 53s. We had flown out there with three 53s and three 46s. The 46s were from HMM 263. They were another squadron that were going to join us on the NATO cruise. So the 46s we call them the Frog, affectionately, of course. It's the tandem rotor heads. It's kind of like a 47 Chinook, but it's smaller. Marine Corps version. And the only support we got was from the 46s. And the 46 guys, man, they were giving us a hard time. Our helicopters had gone down because we had conducted phase inspections. We had to do that when we got to Fallon, Nevada. It's kind of like getting oil changed. Every 3,000 miles, you get your oil changed. Well, after so many hours of flying, you would conduct a phase inspection. I think there was three. There was an A, a B, and a C. Well, all three helicopters went down because of marginal parts discovered or bad during the phase inspections. So, yep, the 46 guys, they were rubbing it in. But on the last day, I heard it coming. The sound of a 53 is distinct like a Harley. That thing come through the valley. We were midway up the mountainside. The helicopter came below us in the valley. You could see it, and it was screaming through the valley. When it got to the end, it banked up, and the bank was so hard the blades were popping, pop, 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 pop. That it come around and landed not too far from our camp. So everybody was getting ready to leave. We all had our sea bags packed, cold weather gear and all that stuff. And I'm walking to the helicopter, and I hit a snowdrift. I dropped into a hole about 5 feet deep. It was up to my neck. I looked up, and the helicopter, the pilots were laughing their butts off. So I climbed out of that hole with my sea bag, finally got into 53. And so I mentioned we took a bus and a troop transport on the way up there. Well, on the back, we flew into 53, and it was some of the prettiest country I've ever seen out there in the Sierra Nevadas. Really, it was breathtaking. I always told myself I'd go back. So we flew back to Fallon, Nevada, our base of operations, and they told us we had to fly to Santa Ana Marine Corps Air Station, Santa Ana in California, just south of Los Angeles, to get some parts to get our other two helicopters up and flying. Because what they had done, they had cannibalized off the two helicopters to get one helicopter ready for flight, and that's the one that picked us up. So we flew it to Santa Ana, and they called it Tustin Marine Corps Air Station, but I always refer to it as Santa Ana because that's what it was when I was stationed out there for a little while. So we landed in Santa Ana, went to maintenance control, got our parts, and we were in a van that was going to take us back out to the helicopter. And I saw Major Hutton, who was our pilot, was talking to what I call a full bird colonel, a Marine Corps colonel. And I couldn't tell what they were saying, but when Major Hutton got in the van, he said, "We've got to fly to Yuma, Arizona." And I'm thinking, poof, we're gone. And that was okay with me. I would have been fine with that. But we flew. We didn't go back to Fallon. We flew straight to Yuma, Arizona, Marine Corps Air Station, Yuma, Arizona. And we landed, we parked, and after a few minutes, after we shut down, I looked, and you could see a 53 in the horizon coming to the airfield. And then what long after that, you could hear it. So when they landed, they didn't land on the runway. They landed directly behind us. And they landed, shut down. All the crew and the pilots got off the helicopter, but they kept their visors down, the dark visors, because they didn't want to be recognized. This was a top secret mission. So they came over to us and said, "Y'all got 5 minutes to get your stuff off that helicopter. We're taking it." And they did. 5 minutes, they were turning the helicopter up, and they were gone. And they left us with a piece of junk. They had flew the crap out of this 53 out in the desert. So we pre-flighted the bird and took off to go back to Fallon. Well, as soon as Major Hutton lifted off and we got a little bit of altitude, that helicopter started vibrating. It started shaking. The teeth in my head were rattling. It was shaking so bad. So Major Hutton turned it around, went back to Yuma, and when he parked, we got up on the helicopter to see what was going on, and we found 6 bad blade dampers. There's 6 blades on the rotor head of a 53, and those blade dampers hold the blade out in the lead position when it's turning. So, very important part. It took us a few days. We got the parts and get them replaced, but we got the dampers replaced, and we flew back to Fallon. Once we got back to Fallon, it was time to go back to New River, North Carolina. So we flew cross country back to New River in the 53s, and we left to go on the NATO cruise. January, February. It was the maiden voyage of the USS Saipan, and the USS Saipan is a LHA, Landing Helicopter Assault. And it's like an aircraft carrier, but it's shorter, and it's for helicopters. And they have Marines, they have infantry Marines on board. It's a combat unit on that ship. You got transportation, and you got Marines with guns. And we would fly the Marines in, to wherever they were needed. So when we got to Tromsø, Norway, which is 150 miles inside the Arctic Circle, we went into a fjord. And man, talk about beautiful. You've seen pictures of fjords in geography in school and all. Well, those pictures don't do it justice. But while we were there, we were inland based for a week, on the shore of the fjord. And when it was time to go back, we got back to the ship, and it was time to take a shower because we were stinking, and the hot water system had something happened to it. They didn't have hot water. We had to take cold showers, but I had to take one. We still hadn't heard back from my guys. We knew where they were out there training, but as far as exactly if they were still out there or what was going on, we didn't know. We got back to New River. It was a 3-month cruise. Got back to New River. It was in April sometime, I think. You guys that served with me, you know when it was. I can't remember the exact dates, but still hadn't heard. And then on 25 April 1980, they mustered us. They got us in formation, and they told us that 3 of our brothers had been killed in an accident over at Desert One in Iran, and that was devastating. If you're in the military, if you were in the military, and you lose a brother, a sister, a friend, it's very impactful because you're close, and just like losing a family member. So when that happened, we were fired up. We were ready. We were ready to go to Iran. We were getting we were getting parts together. We were getting equipment. We were getting our gear, packing, ready to go to Iran. And which was the most devastating part for me was when Jimmy Carter said we couldn't go because we were ready, and we didn't get our opportunity. But every year at this time, I think about Dewey Johnson, George Holmes, and John Harvey. 3 great Marines and even better men that will always be missed and will never be forgotten. R.I.P. Dewey, George, and John.